You're welcome back, and of course, we are still talking about the dollar this afternoon, but in relation to another matter equally important for you and me, because we are at the final end of this chain. Now, traders at Abosokan, one of Ghana's trading hubs, are defying a directive by the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, to reduce prices of goods and services to reflect the substantial gains made by the Ghana cedi against major currencies, including the US dollar. Now, data available to our research team has shown a 5.3% appreciation by the cedi, prompting GUTA for a reduction in prices of goods. But the traders say GUTA cannot dictate to them. Now, they spoke to my colleague, Collins Frimpong.
I pray they made us. It's good though, but we can't reduce our goods. But the goods we have now is something we have already bought them in stock already. So we can't reduce it due to the appraisal they have made. And the dollar issue now is not from the government. We know the whole global market, what's happening now. From China to America to Russia, a whole lot. So that's why we are receiving this current dollar rate. But maybe within some short time, our dollar will go up. What are we going to do when we reduce the goods? And I'm going to buy a new one. What should I do? Automatically, I'm going to lose a lot of money. So you have to hold on for some time being. If you are able to manage this dollar for about 6, 7 months, 8 months, it's good. We have to reduce it for the customer to buy for us. But currently, we can't reduce it now.
If I get you right, you don't really believe that the gains that the cedi has made within the year, as long as a result of internal measures, policies that the government and the Bank of Ghana has put in place, but because of the external factor?
Yes, please. Yes. That's the reason why the dollar has reduced. Because for about 3 or 4 months, I don't see anything much the government has done so that the dollar will come down automatically like this. The government is helping, but we all know what is happening. So I think that's the reason why the dollar is coming down currently. So the government have to at least do more for us to sustain this dollar rate now. Because we really like it when the dollar is down. It will help us. Our goods will go for us. They will buy it. But if the dollar is high, we can't even reduce anything for us. You cannot even do sales. So automatically, the government have to work hard for that to come down or to sustain it for this level for us, so that next time, or at least for about 3, 4 months, I'm saying 7 months time, automatically every goods will come down. For me, for you, for our customers.
Well, some consumers and retail traders in Kumasi are eagerly anticipating a reduction in the cost of commodities on the market as the cedi gains strength against some major trading currencies. Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, they've advised trading community to consider cutting down the cost of commodities to offer respite to consumers. But the directive has been met with mixed reaction from traders. Some cite the high cost of utility, cost of borrowing and taxes as reason to attempt an immediate price reduction. My colleague Irabina Akwe engaged with some consumers and traders in Kumasi and filed this report.
The cedi has seen some appreciation against the dollar in recent weeks. However, many Ghanaians say this improvement has not translated into a reduction in the cost of goods and services on the market. So what do everyday citizens make of this? We hit the market today to find out.
The of the cedi is very good. It's good for the economy. Obviously, imports will be cheaper, and we're expecting that prices will start coming down. However, the traders are not obliging, and it's something that we think the government has to work on.
If the dollar is now depreciated, by all means, there must be, the prices must go down, so everybody can buy anything that you want.
Saturday, I'm a fan.
I went to stock items this Saturday and prices remain the same. But when prices increase today, they will increase their prices too. Some people even increase it without going to the stock market because they believe it will increase by the time they go there.
We still buy some stuff at the old price, but at the end of the month, we are hopeful that it will reflect in prices.
Meanwhile, leadership of businesses have been reacting to the developments, and the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, is urging traders to adjust their prices to reflect the cedi's performance in the local markets.
As much as we appreciate that cedi is gaining some strength, it must be stated that forex is not the only determinant in terms of our price build-up. There are other factors we consider in determining the price of markets.
Such as?
Oh, you look at cost of borrowing. If you're into manufacturing, you want to look at tariffs, utility tariffs. You want to look at inflation. We want to look at taxes. We want to look at positive correlation that forex will have on all these indicators we talk about. As we speak now, cost of borrowing is still the same. As we speak now, consumption tax, which is VAT, is the same. You get my point? So yes, we've seen some little drop of inflation by 100 basis points, fine. But that is not enough in terms of your price build-up.
All right, so let's put this matter to some analysis. And of course, let me bring in the president of the Federation of Ghana Traders, Nana Kwesi Prempeh. Nana Kwesi Prempeh, good afternoon and welcome to the program. Nana Prempeh, if you can unmute for me, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon and thanks for having me.
All right, also joining us via Zoom, I'm privileged to say that we have the Sector Minister for Trade and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare. Honorable Minister, good afternoon and a pleasure to have you here. Right, so Honorable Minister, if you can unmute for me, good afternoon and welcome to the program. Right, so we'll try and get the Minister's attention, and then also Emmanuel Heneyeba is also joining us. He's from the Ghana Transport Coordinating Council. So Nana Prempeh, why is it so difficult for traders to reduce their prices, more especially when the dollar is no longer a major concern? Nana Prempeh, if you can hear me. Yes, please go on.
In fact, it is the desire of every citizen that whenever we go to the market and we are to buy goods, we will buy it at a cheaper cost. We traders are also consumers as well. So it is not in the interest of traders that we will hike the prices of goods at the detriment of others. Because the product that we sell, we also buy different items from other colleague traders. So definitely we all anticipate that there should be low prices of goods. But as we all know, there are several factors that contribute to the high cost of goods in Ghana. And luckily enough, I think the government is working hard to bring some of these factors down. We talk about inflation currently is coming down, but interest rates is coming down. It's good. But we believe that there are several other factors, though the city is appreciating, and every citizen is calling for the reduction of prices of goods. But we believe that it cannot be spontaneous. It should be gradual and systematic because we've already stocked goods in the previous quarter. So we anticipate that in the coming days or weeks, the reduction will come itself.
But the thing is that you traders are always quick to adjust prices as soon as the dollar begins to go up. And it's always a very convenient excuse to make. Now that we've seen a downward trend, you are telling us that you already have goods in stock. So until they are cleared, you cannot let the price reflect.
Oh, as I said, there are several factors, including the forex. So now we've all seen that though the dollar has appreciated for some about 2-3 weeks now, but is this sustainable? Because as a trader, as a businessman, you have to forecast at least for the next 1 month, for the next 2 months, how is the forex going to be? So you cannot just jump and say, yes, within the last 2 weeks or so, the cedi has appreciated, so automatically I have to reduce my wares. No, that's I said earlier, you have to study the market terrain because the government has not hedged the rate so that it will help you in planning ahead. It is fluctuating, though it is reducing, but it's still fluctuating. So as businessmen, we have to study the terrain for some time before we make some adjustments.
Let me bring in the perspective of an economist, Dr. Daniel Enim. Dr. Enim, good afternoon, welcome. And I mean, listening to the traders all the way from Abosso Okan to Kumasi, do they have a case?
Yeah. Thank you very much. First, I must, admit that what is happening to our economy now is quite a good news. That the cedi is beginning to gain grounds, and that is progressive and positive, and it's other way for the economy as it stands now. Now, back to the substantive question that you asked. In fact, first, we are in a free market economy where the prices of goods and services basically are determined by the marginal forces of demand and supply. And other factors, okay, that goes into the pricing mechanism. One of such has to do with the forest, especially an economy that is import-driven.
Right.
Now, the point is that if at the time, okay, that the city begins to gain grounds, a business person has already purchased a certain worth of goods, which is in the warehouse, which is yet to be sold. It will not be fair to expect a person to reduce the price of that particular product. Otherwise, the person may run at loss. Okay, what we should be pushing, in my respective view, is that those who are now importing into the economy should take into consideration the performance of the local currency, so that their prices will reflect. Okay, and if we are able to segregate the information and appeal to the conscience of the traders, my view is that they should be able to align. They said one thing which I quite agree, that of course, and this is because of our economic history, we are trying to pay recourse to economic history, where we have seen over the period that the macroeconomic indicator, let me even speak to the dollar. We have seen the performance of the cedi for a particular period. By the time you say Jack, it increases.
Right.
Okay. So they are looking at a sustained performance of the local currencies as against the dollar over a period. And if that is done, they may have the confidence now that, the government is putting in a policy and a mechanism to ensure to improve the value of the cedi. In other words, we now have so much dollar in the system that at any point in time that a business person needs that dollar, will be able to have access to, hence the performance of the cedi.
Right.
Inflation is also falling down, and if that trend continues, it further gives confidence in the economy that government policies yielding the necessary dividend. Naturally, you wouldn't expect it, or you wouldn't have to tell traders to reduce prices.
They'll do it themselves.
They'll form a line.
That's the point. If you can kindly hold it for me, Dr. Enim, because the minister is traveling and we've gotten her via Zoom now. Let me quickly bring in the minister responsible for trade and industry, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare. And it's a privilege to have you here. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, sir.
And let me say congratulations to you, Honorable, and of course for some of us who grew up in Sunyani, you always serve as a beacon of hope for us, and I'm happy for you. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So for the traders, those at Abosu Okaim and those we've heard from Kumase, they say that, they are happy, the dollar is come down, inflation has come down, interest rate is coming down. The business environment is beginning to look quite accommodating, yet they can only let this reflect in their prices if the ones they have in stock are out of the way, because they brought in goods that attracted a certain dollar pledge, and therefore it will make no economic sense to reduce them now. Is this something that you find acceptable?
Thank you very much. I have since called the president of GUTA. I work closely with them for a meeting with the other trade associations. We all know that in Ghana, we don't control prices. And so government cannot really push price reduction on them. But because we work together, we can always discuss and see how the stable cedi will benefit both consumers and traders. And that is only fair, because there have been times that the dollar has gone up and traders have increased their prices. So if the dollar is this stable and has appreciated this much, I think that we need to regroup and see the way forward. I also commend GUTA for even taking the step to prevail on the traders to reduce the cost of their goods. And so I think that at that meeting, we will brainstorm and come to a very good conclusion, which will benefit both traders and then consumers.
But
I've heard one argument which says that they bought the things already, but I think that we can discuss. They can take advantage and buy some at this time as the dollar is low, put it together, find the averages. I'm sure at the meeting it will be very useful, the discussion that we'll have. Guta is ready to sit with the traders and other trade associations to ensure that at least all our customers also benefit from the stable environment that we are enjoying.
But clearly, government has done something to get the dollar to reflect whatever has been done in the background, because it is not only dollar that is coming down, inflation is doing so, and interest rates. So clearly, something is being done from the governmental.
Certainly.
Yes.
Exactly. You know, the dollar is about demand and supply like any commodity. And now, because there is dollar in the system, you can buy dollar at a good rate. Now, the business community have confidence in the government. The finance ministry is doing well. Gold is doing great. The gold board is doing well. They are posting the exports and the money they are bringing in. Because of the investor confidence, people are not taking away their dollar. And you see, the business environment generally is good. And if government has been able to achieve this, I'm sure that it is good that everybody in the country benefit from it. And so we'll continue to engage Guta and the trade association to ensure that they see reason to make sure that we all benefit from the business environment that Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Ghanaians have created.
But are you certain that this won't be an idea wonder that this appreciation will be sustained?
All of us working together, I am sure that it will be sustained.
And how soon will this meeting be called?
In fact, I'm traveling. I'm just coming to Accra. And so I've spoken to the president of Guta. We will speak again this evening because, you know, we just had a discussion. And I'm sure that we'll do this latest by Wednesday morning.
And we've got their leaders on the phone. In terms of them showing some kind of solidarity with what government has done so far, would you appeal to their conscience to play ball even before that meeting, takes place?
Certainly. As I indicated earlier, the government has tried. The government has created the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Our city has become strong. Anytime the city depreciates, traders increase their prices. It is just fair. It is just conscionable that prices are reduced to reflect the measures that government has put in place. If the traders are magnanimous enough to reduce their prices, it also encourage government to keep on doing all the right things, because government will know that once it does the right thing, every citizen will benefit. And I'm sure that the traders are benefiting, and they will benefit more if they really bring the prices to terms with the rate of the cedi to the dollar.
All right, because you are talking...
And so if they are listening to me, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, your sector minister is here. We know that government does not control prices, but we also know that it's the duty of the government to create the enabling environment for your businesses to thrive. It is just fair that you also reduce your prices so that everybody can benefit, even as you also benefit. This is how I appeal to them.
And I wish you safe journey back to Accra. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for your time this afternoon. Let me bring in also for some perspective on this matter, because, this is a fluid, situation. It can go up the next day, it is down. The next day is down, the next hour it is up. Dr. Richmond Etuahene is a banking consultant. Doctor, you've listened to the traders, you've heard the minister. Now I'm just reading an article that came out some few hours ago. The Straits Times in London, the US dollar soared and government bonds sold off as the market reacted to the de-escalation in the trade war between China and America, which agreed to lower some tariff for 90 days. A gauge of dollar strength rose to as much as 0.9%, and the yen, a traditional haven, plunged as progress in stock risk appetite across, asset classes. Dr. Shuai, this clearly doesn't give me comfort that our city will continue to appreciate.
Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me another opportunity to explain this. This morning I've been to one of your sister stations to do the same thing as you have just said. We have what we call the league the lead and the lag. I'm going to explain it simple for you. Those who have actually contracted loans or who have sold goods earlier, they are in a better position to go and pay today.
Right.
You get it? Because now, with little cedis, you make up the dollar. But those who have already brought in the goods, they brought the goods at the higher rate. So if you tell him to go and sell the goods at $13, basically you're running down his capital. That is why in economics or international trade, we have what we call the leak and the lag. The lag means that those who are paying outside are benefiting. But those who actually bought the goods earlier cannot sell at the lower price at all. At all. It is never done anywhere.
Right.
What they will do in the next reordering time, when they have to reorder their things, then they will reorder at the 13 so that they can come and sell to the people. So it is not as simple as people are saying that they should reduce it and reduce it. Those who are benefiting, if you have imported spare parts from London and you haven't paid, today, if you imported last December or January, you are the best person. So you are leaving. But those who will lag behind are those who have actually brought the commodity which they haven't sold. They need to sell before they do the reorder. And they wouldn't do it and lose business. So that is how it is. Going back to your question.
Right.
You know, what Trump did, if he hadn't come to his sense, yesterday there was a U.S. global investor report. If Trump has not agreed with the Chinese, I can assure you, the euro would have gone to, the gold would have reached $6,000 by the end of this year. And it's affecting, Elon Musk. If you loan Elon Musk, do we know just about 1 month, he has lost $150 billion.
Right.
And because of that, Trump is now coming back to his senses that there is World International Trade Organization which sets up this agenda. You don't just get up unilaterally one day and decide to do that. And when he did it, people started moving out from the dollar and going into gold. I'm telling you. And that is why today, you were saying 10%. I saw 3% when I checked Bloomberg. The dollar has now appreciated by 3%, while gold has also declined by 3%. So people are now saying that the man is coming back to his senses. Let us begin to go into dollar, not in gold. But even good business, any good businessman, with what Trump, the way he's behaving, it is better to have gold hedged in gold rather than to hedge in dollar. And that is what is going to reflect the next 2 years or 1 year. Because at least he is not listening to the global, and China has become so powerful. Once upon a time, it was the American. Now the American, you Americans, some of your accessories are imported from China.
Right.
So you don't just get up one morning and say that you 150%. You as if you are a headmaster. He's forgotten that even cocoa, the Americans take cocoa, and you don't put taxes on cocoa and thinking that you can cultivate your own cocoa in America. So now he's coming back to his senses, and I like the Chinese proving to him that they are not minnows. Currently, they are one of the powerful. They have joined a new BRIC. If you saw BRIC, have you heard BRIC?
Well, of course.
The BRIC is becoming more powerful. One time, if they don't take it, it will be bigger. 2050, it will be bigger than the IMF and the World Bank. Because now they have realized that we need to pitch a camp where one currency will not be telling us what we should do. That is why now Trump, after doing it, at least today's evidence from Bloomberg, tells me that he has now seen this common sense he had to go by. But not to say, I am champion of the world. Now, you cannot be champion because the Chinese are strong. The Indians, everybody, except the Africans. If the Africans were also to come together and have all our resources like gold, that's why I like President Mahama. He has said something, and I want to encourage him, and I said this morning, all the gold exports, let them come and sit on the table and renegotiate all your gold contracts. Those who will not prefer to listen to it, they should leave. Botswana did it. They survived. Makafuli in Tanzania, before he died, he also did it. He survived. And currently, Namibia, the woman president, is telling the Americans that you cannot come and take your uranium like that and decide what you want to. So he has always sacked all the Americans working with the uranium and gold. So let Trump come back to his common sense that the world is not America. The world is global, and he should respect it. That's why gold, if he had continued what he did today, gold would be at 4,000 per ounce. And then he realized that. He quickly went to Switzerland and negotiated, and the Chinese are saying that, look, we agree, we'll come to 10%. But even that, all good countries will not be hedging in dollar. They'll be hedging in gold, because gold is an asset that you have. And let me tell you something that has happened today. The Basel Committee for Banking Supervision,
right,
the international banking supervisor all over the world, today, starting from July 1st, banks like Bank of Ghana, their capital, the gold they have, they can call it tier 1 capital, and Bank of Ghana can be recapitalized within a space of time.
All right.
They are now not taking dollar, they are taking gold as part of your tier 1. So you see how the global system is changing. So Ghana is not will not be sitting down thinking that the gold was going to go and go and go, and that's why we need to put the fundamentals need to be put right. The fundamentals are not right.
Because I was coming to ask, you've answered part of my question. I was coming to ask, as far as Ghana is concerned, even though the strength of the dollar may not only be local, but partly international, what can we also do to sustain this, the strength that the cedi appears to have picked up? What can we do in our own small way to sustain it?
Thank you, Elton. We need to have at least 3 major strategies. We need a short-term strategy. One of the short-term strategies I've just told you that all the mining companies, be they South African, American, Canadian, they should come to the table. Because I can tell you, between 2014 and 2022, Ghana extracted 43 billion worth of gold. To shock you, only 6.7 billion came to Bank of Ghana, which is about 14% or 15%. Yes. So when people talk about gold, that's why I want to take my hat off of President Mahama. He should call a spade. If you can't do it, pack and go. Botswana did, and today Botswana is doing 40% of diamond.
Right.
And we should not let people take 15%. The young man at Burkina Faso, they have constructed more roads over the last 3 years than Ghana. When they took over the resources, he's doing great things. So we cannot sit here and thinking that the West, we have interest. Let Ghanaians begin to think that we need to take our own mantle and begin to run our race. Number 1, that is the mining.
Right.
Number 2, you live in an economy blessed with water, blessed with land, and you cannot feed yourself. You cannot feed yourself. Let the people begin to think that agriculture should be supported like any other business. So that in the next 3-4 years, we will not be sitting here. When you go to Ivory Coast, they don't import tomatoes and onions from area. They cultivate it. We cannot even plant yam and rice. We don't plant yams and maize and millet. How can you live your staple food you can't produce? So let them have a strategy, a medium term, to make sure that agri become the topmost, even than the mining. Because mining goes with destruction of the environment. Agri, if you do it well, it will help you. Number 3,
right.
Let us have serious export diversification. Because if you can't even plant, how can you export? If you cultivate more, yam is there, plantain is there, cassava is there, then you begin to think about export. Once upon a time, non-traditional export, I'll tell you, non-traditional export, Dr. Kwesibo Ketai, a pineapple was contributing so much. Now all these things have gone by. So let the country come back and sit down. The next one that I think I want to commend the Minister of Finance, I don't know, Doctor, I've forgotten his name.
Dr. Tuforsen.
Yes, I want to take my hat off. I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that. Last year, the total budget of this country was 279 billion. When he came, he saw that there are a total of weaknesses and leakages. His budget is 260, I think 261, about 10 billion more. And he hasn't even stopped that. He's plugging the holes like people were creating losses and losses and losses. He has started plugging the holes. So we call it the fiscal consolidation, the fiscal discipline, and the fiscal diversification. And that chart he's taking, if he can take it to the end, I'm telling you, Ghana currency will be strong.
All right.
These are the only 4 things I can tell you for the time being. But if you want me to go on, there are about other 5 of them.
I think we'll find time to bring you in the studio so that we can expatiate on this matter. But I'd like to say thank you so much. That is a mouthful, Dr. Tuahene. But let me go back to Dr. Enim. Dr. Enim, you heard Dr. Tuahene. The minister says that he's hoping to meet with Guta and the other traders to see how best the country, the consumer, can benefit more from the new business environment that looks favorable for businesses. What would be your suggestion as this meeting is about to happen?
Yeah, thank you very much. First, I would like to recommend the minister for such a mechanism, okay? That so she, as soon as she touched base in Accra, by God's grace, safely, she needs to arrange a meeting, just like she indicated by Wednesday the meeting will come on, because it's very important. Stakeholder engagement is very key and critical. And I've indicated that previously we've not seen much of stakeholder engagement. And then secondly, in her engagement with Gupta leadership, communication is very key, okay, and critical, and how messages are presented to people must be persuasive in nature.
Right.
Okay, it must not be authoritative and commanding. So these are some of the things that which some of us will see it. As part of the engagement, she must encourage the leadership of Gupta or any other union that she intends to persuade that in communicating to the sub-units within the mother umbrella, communication must be persuasive, and that is very key and critical. Okay, but one of the things, just to come to the issue, is that yes, at the end of the day, the discussion should be about, just like the Honorable Minister said, about both parties. Okay, a dialogue and negotiation that at the end of the day, the traders may also benefit as well as with the consumers, and that is also key. But one of the things that I would like to put across, and I'll pick it from what Dr. Tuahene have indicated, and that is key, is that apart from the Honorable Minister engaging the traders, there should also be an engagement between him and then the Honorable Finance Minister, which is very key. Because when the Finance Ministry is unable to pursue policies to ensure the continuous performance of the local currency, that may hit at his ministry, because prices of goods and services there again will start going up, and of course people will start complaining. I must also recommend that as much as government is working very hard to ensure that we have a stable macroeconomic environment, they must tread cautiously. The celebration is too early. They must put their eyes on every macroeconomic indicator, which is very important. The forest, the inflation, then the overall cost of doing business, okay, and other variables that ensure stability. I understand as politicians, you need to let the people know that you have started work and you are doing some work. But the focus should be on the critical variables that will ensure stability. And the Honorable Finance Minister shouldn't take his eye off that, as well as the Honorable Trade Minister. It is very key and critical. To me, the celebration is too early. Let's bring all ideas to desk. Let's harness all the policies together and ensure that we project and predict what will happen within the medium term. Any external shock and any other reaction from the global players that may have impact or may affect our ability to beef up our reserve at the Bank of Ghana. So we must be proactive in terms of the measures and the mechanisms to ensure that we mitigate any external shocks or external policy that may affect our inability to bring in more inflows in terms of the dollar to be able to meet demand as when the request may make. So to me, these are some of the things that are largely important, but also recognize the minister's effort that we want to engage in dialogue. And that is the way to go in the free market economy. It is not about imposition. When it becomes very critical, we understand government can interfere into the market and try to make certain policies, okay? But doing it must be persuasive in nature, and also assuring the citizens and then the business community that the policies of government, even in the medium term, will be able to, support their activities and operations going forward. And to me, that is more critical because the economics of the dollar, it's about supply and demand.
You're right.
And then also, let me add this point, and then respectfully, the minister also is in charge of agribusiness. So along that value chain, they should be able to expedite policies that will ensure that we add value to whatever we produce in order to bring in more inflows, to beef up our reserves at the Bank of Ghana. And that's the only way to address or to help the value of the cities by way minimizing the depreciation of the local currency going forward.
All right. Dr. Dananim is Chief Economist at PIED. Thank you so much for your time this summer. Let me Nana Prempeh. So you heard the sector minister. She says she will hold a meeting on Wednesday. If you are going to this meeting, what are you carrying with you? What would be your suggestion to the minister? Yes, if you can unmute for me, Nana Prempeh. And I just want to find out, the minister says that on Wednesday, she's hoping to meet with all interest groups to see how best, this will reflect on the final consumer. And I'm asking, what would be your suggestion if you are to attend this meeting on Wednesday? You're welcome back. Let's touch this briefly and then we'll move to some other story before we go. Now, apart from concerns over prices, call for reduction of transport fares are also intensifying. Now, let me bring in the General Secretary of the General Secretary of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, Emmanuel Ohene Yeboah. Mr. Yeboah, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Mr. Yeboah, yes, good afternoon. So I was wondering, the traders at Obosuo kind, those especially into the business of spare parts, they say that they will do price reduction in their next consignments, even though the dollar has come down. Is it a case that transport unions are also waiting to see spare parts go down before they also effect changes in transport fares?
So thank you very much, my brother. The issue is this dollar Cedi appreciation thing is not something that we can say for sure that we can rely on, given the fact that it has happened before. Maybe it goes up, it comes down, the next day it goes up. So talking about any transport fare reduction will depend on how we are assured by government to the effect that we are going to have a long spell of dollar stability, so that we can have our discussion and see how best we can reduce it. Mind you, this thing happened just last week, and if you care to know, the whole of last year we didn't increase transport fares, and we have been running at these supposed increases in the spare parts for all these years without considering any increase, given the fact that we felt that there was so much, the public was things were hard by the traveling public. So
all right,
we had to manage to keep some of our losses to ourselves. So before we can even consider this, we have to look at maybe monitor the trend for a while, and maybe we'll meet as a group and see how.
But Mr. Yeboah, in the case of transport unions, I think you really don't have a case here. The last 3 or 4 windows, fuel prices actually came down, yet you are still charging the old price.
Can you help me with the percentage reduction?
Well, I cannot be so certain of that, but it has come down at least in the last 4 windows.
Okay, you see, I agree with you to some extent, but the reduction in the fuel prices over the last 4 windows is not that significant that can trigger transport fare reduction. Notwithstanding, you see, we have a new sector minister who we are yet to meet to discuss some of these things, especially with the price reduction. We had some meeting
about just before the Easter holidays, and that was in anticipation of the fuel price reduction.
Right.
So I think we'll have to maybe initiate the discussion again at this level and see how best we can look at it. But for now, if you ask me as an operator, what I would say is that we need to make sure that this dollar stability is something that we can be sure that is going to last for maybe minimum 3 months. Then we are all sure that whatever reduction we do will not affect our operations in the near future.
All right, let's leave it here. Thank you so much. Mr. Auhene is with the transport unions. Now, to some other